You've wondered about it more times than you'll admit. You meet a woman, there's a spark you can feel in your chest and in your gut, but your mind won't let you trust it. You start analyzing every glance, every pause, every little thing she says, trying to decode whether you're imagining it or she's actually drawn to you. And that hesitation, those second guesses, is what kills momentum for most men. Not because she wasn't attracted, but because you didn't know how to read the signals she was already broadcasting. Women rarely announce their interest directly. Attraction shows up in the small cracks of conversation, in the way her body hangs on a moment longer than necessary, in the rhythm of her breath when you hold her eyes for one beat too long. Understand those signals and you stop chasing clarity. You start leading with certainty. And when you lead with certainty, she relaxes into the polarity you create. If what you're hearing already feels like it's shifting the way you see interactions, stay with me until the end. Because we're just getting started, and I'm going to show you how to respond to each sign so you never fumble the opportunity again. Let's begin with a truth that most men overlook. Attraction isn't a single event. It's a pattern of micro-investments. She doesn't give everything at once. She taps the water to see if it's warm. Then she lowers herself in slowly. The first sign is that she starts investing in tiny, low-risk ways, and she does it consistently. Maybe she sends you a quick message about something you mentioned earlier, a picture of the coffee shop you offhandedly said you liked, a playful comment on a story that didn't need a reply but invited one anyway. She asks you for a small favor. Which one of these looks better? Where do you usually get your... and then thanks you a little more warmly than the situation required. Her language softens around you. She adds your name to the end of sentences. She nudges you for your opinion on something she could have decided without you. What she's doing is creating little bridges to stay connected without exposing herself to outright rejection. Your move when you notice this is not to blow it up into a big declaration. Mirror the scale of her investment, then lead. If she sends a playful comment, return it and steer toward a meetup that feels natural. Talking about this makes me want a coffee. Thursday, 6:30, the spot with the copper counter. I'll grab a corner table. Make it easy to say yes, confident to follow, and simple to visualize. Confidence isn't loud. It's clear. There's another subtle pattern almost nobody talks about: time stretching. When a woman is secretly attracted, she stretches the moments she gets with you, even when she pretends she's on her way out. Watch what happens at the end of an interaction. She'll say she has to go, then she'll stay. She'll take one step back, but her shoulders won't turn. Her feet point toward you even if her face is angled away. She adds a new topic just when the previous one could have ended. She lingers in the doorway, one finger hooked around her bag strap, eyes holding a question she hasn't voiced yet. That's sign 2, lingering exits and slowed pace. She's testing whether you notice the window she's opening. Your response is to reward the linger with presence, not pressure. You hold the eye contact 2 seconds longer than usual. You lower your voice. You shorten your sentences. You step just half a foot closer, enough to let your energy be felt, not so close that you invade. I'm stepping out now too, walk me to the corner, or 2 minutes. Tell me the story you were about to tell, and then I'll let you escape. When you frame it like that, you're both acknowledging the time boundary and inviting a deeper connection. She will often take this invitation without naming it. The third sign lives in her eyes, and you can train yourself to see it. A woman who's attracted doesn't only hold eye contact, she breaks it in specific patterns. She goes eyes to mouth to eyes, a subtle triangle that signals curiosity and desire. She glances down and to the side when you make a confident statement, almost like she's letting the words sink into her body. Watch for the micro-smile that lingers after you stop talking, the kind that says she's replaying what you just said in her head. Notice how she checks your reaction the moment she drops a teasing line. If your frame is solid, she softens. If your frame wavers, she hardens. You'll also see tiny grooming behaviors. She smooths her hair behind her ear when you lean in, her fingers brush her collarbone when your voice gets more resonant, she moistens her lips after you hold her gaze. This is not about staring her down, it's about tuning your attention to the feedback loop you're creating. When you see it, calibrate. Slow the cadence of your speech. Rest your weight evenly. Let a half smile appear and vanish. And remember, stillness is louder than fidgeting. Women read your nervous system before they hear your words. Proximity is sign 4, but not in the way most men think. If you're at a bar, a cafe, a lounge, or even a hallway at work, Attraction pulls her into your space and keeps her there in disguised ways. She chooses the seat next to you when other options are available. She mirrors your posture unconsciously, matching your lean or your relaxed sprawl. Her belongings become a territorial marker. She sets her phone or keys near your elbow rather than anchoring them at a distance, a silent way of saying, "I'm with you. This is our space." Feet never lie. If her toes point toward you and stay there, even while she's talking to someone else, her body has already chosen. If the room is crowded, she navigates back to your orbit without drawing attention to the route she took. What should you do? Honor the proximity by owning the space. Angle your body slightly open to her, not squared off like a confrontation, not turned away like indifference. Touch calibration matters here. A light, confident touch on the back of her elbow to guide her around someone, your forearm brushing hers as you show her something on your phone, a quick, playful tap on her shoulder when you tease. Touch is a language. You're saying, "I'm grounded. You're safe with me. I lead." She'll answer in kind by staying close. There's a more cerebral sign that gives away what's happening underneath. Sign 5 is that she adopts your frame language, not just mirroring your body, but subtly borrowing your words, your rhythm, even your worldview. She repeats a phrase you use. She teases you using your own joke structure. She challenges you exactly where you want to be challenged, not to undermine you, but to dance with your certainty. When a woman is attracted, she often tries on the man's world to see how it feels in her mouth. You'll hear it when she says, "That's very you," or "I knew you'd say that," as if she's already started building a model of you inside her head. In these moments, reward the adoption without making a big deal. You caught on fast, with a subtle smile, or lean into the frame. Dangerous. Keep borrowing my words and you might start thinking like me. The point is not to win an argument, but to expand the shared reality. When she steps into your frame and finds it warm and alive, attraction accelerates. Another sign shows up as curiosity with a sharp edge. Sign 6 is the way she injects other women into the conversation, directly or indirectly, to gauge your value and your options. It might sound like, "You probably say that to all the girls," delivered with a smile that asks you to prove you don't, or she might mention a guy who's texting her and watch your face for micro-reactions. Perhaps she asks about your weekend in a way that leaves a space for you to mention someone else. This isn't drama, it's data collection. She wants to know if other women choose you, if you're the kind of man who's selected by quality. Your move here is composure with a hint of humor. Some do, some don't. The wrong ones never stick around. Or, "I'm selective. Life's easier that way." You're not auditioning. You're offering your truth in a tone that says you're comfortable with abundance and boundaries. When you don't flinch, when you don't over-explain, she feels the weight of your self-respect. And for a feminine woman, a man who respects his own presence is magnetic. Sign 7 is the impulse to qualify herself to you. This is one of the strongest indicators that she's not just curious, she's invested. Listen for the way she highlights traits she thinks you admire. If you value discipline, she mentions her morning routine. If you value playfulness, she shows you her sense of humor, like a cat dropping a gift at your feet. She'll open a deeper door, family things, a challenge she's struggled with, an insecurity she's learning to own. Not to offload, but to reveal. Women don't expose the soft parts to men they don't feel safe with. When she does, your job is to hold the frame with grounded acceptance, not advice, not fixing. A man who can witness a woman's truth without being shaken earns her trust. You respond with something like, "I like that you're honest about that," or "I respect the way you handle it." Then lead the conversation into motion. "Come on, walk with me. I want to show you something." Vulnerability plus movement equals intimacy without heaviness. The 8th sign is future pacing, how she subtly puts you into her future without labeling it. She'll say, "We should try that place next week," or "You'd love my friend's rooftop. We should go before summer ends." She saves you a seat at an event and tells you afterwards as if it were the most natural thing. She asks your opinion on a trip she's considering, not for logistics, but because she enjoys imagining you inside her world. She drops time anchors. "After this busy week, I'm doing a reset day on Sunday. Long walk, late breakfast, you'd approve." That's not casual, that's an invitation wrapped in plausible deniability. You accept it by concretizing the plan. "Wednesday, that place. I'll text you the time." Or, Sunday reset sounds dangerous. I'll bring the coffee, you pick the route. Be decisive. Clear beats clever. And when she's future pacing consistently, she's telling you she wants your presence, not just your attention. Now, reading signs is only half the game. The other half is who you are while you read them. A woman's attraction amplifies in the presence of male composure. Breath lower in the belly, shoulders relaxed, eyes focused but not rigid. She reads your nervous system through your pacing, your pauses, your choice to fill silence or let it stretch. Practice speaking a shade slower than your instinct, especially when she teases or challenges. Practice standing with even weight instead of shifting between feet. Practice meeting her eyes while you finish a sentence, then letting your gaze drift to her hairline, then to the space just beside her before returning to her eyes. That subtle movement creates an arc of tension without turning into a stare down. When a man is regulated, a woman feels free to be unregulated in the best way. Playful, warm, expressive. That's the polarity you want. Let me give you practical calibrations to pair with each sign so you always know what to do. When she micro-invests with messages or comments, respond with a ratio of 1-to-1 and escalate context. If she sends a short line, send a short line back that includes a decisive seed. If she asks for a recommendation, give it and attach an opportunity. Get the ginger latte. Also, I'm testing a theory. Ginger wins at night, cinnamon wins in the morning. Thursday, you'll help me confirm. Keep it light but directed. This shows you're a man who transforms energy into motion, not a man who hoards attention for validation. When she lingers at the exit, honor the moment by compressing distance slightly. Step closer into the space she's leaving you, but sideways like you're aligning to walk together. Lower your voice. The human ear leans toward lower volume when it wants to catch the secret. 1 minute, you say, glancing at your watch like you're a man with a life. Then I'm stealing your exit. Ask a question that deepens, not widens. What was the exact moment you knew you were going to take that risk? She'll answer not with a fact, but with a memory, and memories carry emotion. Emotion is the fuel of attraction. Then you release. All right, go. That controlled release anchors you in her body long after you part ways. With the eyes and grooming tells, treat them as green lights for tension building, not for rushing. When she does the eyes-mouth-eyes triangle, you let a small smile touch one side of your mouth and you slow your breath. Your breath is contagious. If you breathe slower, she will too. Ask a compact, evocative question that invites sensation. What are you resisting saying right now? Or, you just pictured something. What was it? Say it warmly, not as an interrogation. If she laughs it off, you keep your center and switch topics without losing that slight smile. She'll come back to it if she wants to play. When proximity is the sign, lead with spatial awareness. If you're standing, create an angle at 45 degrees rather than face-to-face like a corporate negotiation. If you're seated, open your torso toward her, but keep your knees at ease, one foot slightly forward to anchor your stance. Touch checkpoints. Elbow guide, lower back tap, handshake that lingers a heartbeat, a palm-to-palm moment when you're handing her something. The message beneath the movement is, I'm comfortable in my skin. I don't ask permission to exist. And I notice you. If she doesn't step back, if she leans in, if her forearm touches yours and doesn't withdraw, that's confirmation. When you hear her adopt your language or worldview, reward it by deepening the frame, not by teasing it away with self-deprecation. Careful, you say with humor, you keep agreeing with me and I'll start thinking we're compatible. Then offer her a chance to step further in. Here's how I see it. And share a compact principle, not a monologue. A principle. I value friction. If we never challenge each other, we're pretending. She'll either push back with respect or lean in with curiosity. Either way, you win, because a flat conversation never seduces. Polarity does. When she probes for other women or alludes to her options, maintain your alpha calm. No flexing, no jealousy. Options are healthy, you say. They remind us to choose, not drift. Then you pivot with a quiet qualifier. I don't do drama, I do honesty, it's more fun. That line plants a flag. Your life has standards. If she was testing for insecurity, you disarmed it. If she was testing for abundance, you confirmed it without performance. When she qualifies herself, meet her effort with appreciation and direction. I like the way you do that. Then pivot to motion. Let's get air. Or walk me to the corner. Or show me the thing you just described. You're using her energy to move the interaction without weighing it down. If she reveals something real, your eyes hold steady and your voice softens a degree. That is masculine leadership. Not fixing her, not shrinking, just witnessing and moving. When she future paces, lock one plan, not 10. 1. Wednesday works. 7. I'll send the place. Then, keep your word. Reliability is sexy because it's rare. If you say 7-5 and you show up at 7-5, you're telling her nervous system, you can relax. I mean what I say. A relaxed feminine is a playful feminine. That's where attraction becomes an experience rather than a series of tests. Here's a deeper layer most men miss. Your relationship with silence will decide whether she keeps inching closer or starts protecting herself. Silence is where her imagination paints pictures of you. If you fill every gap with explanation, she loses the ability to feel you. Start enjoying the pause after she says something meaningful. Let 2-3 seconds breathe. Watch her pupils, watch her chest rise, then speak slowly. I like that. Or, say that again but slower. You're not asking for content, you're asking for energy. She'll feel that difference and lean into it. Consider also how you carry the first 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes with a woman decide the tone of everything after. Smile with your eyes first, your mouth second. Plant your feet. Speak in statements before questions. You've got the kind of focus people mistake for shyness. That's an observation, not a compliment. It lands differently. If she smiles, you follow with a question that opens a door. Where did you learn it? Now she's telling you a story she wants to tell, and she associates that good feeling with your presence. If you want a visceral method to confirm attraction without words, use the slow permission test. At some point in a conversation, offer your hand, palm up, at waist height, not as a grab, as an offering. If she places her hand in yours, even for a second, squeeze lightly and release first. Then later, guide her through a crowd with a gentle touch at the right lower back. You're building a language of leadership that's respectful and confident. If she doesn't take your hand, nothing's wrong. You pivot without comment. The key is, you never chase compliance. You offer, you observe, you lead where there's a yes. Now, let's talk mindset, because tactics collapse without the frame that holds them. Women read the story you're telling yourself about who you are. If your story is, I hope she likes me, you'll try to prove yourself and you'll over-explain. If your story is, I like me, I'm curious if she fits, your energy is different. You won't laugh too hard at jokes you don't find funny. You won't pretend to be more interested than you are. You won't ask for permission to speak your preferences. That internal stance is not arrogance, it's orientation. You're oriented toward your values, health, mission, standards, humor, and you invite her to experience that world. If she likes it, great. If she doesn't, also great. Women trust men who are guided by something beyond the need to be liked. There's another psychological principle to leverage: tension and release. Tension invites attention, release creates craving. When you share a glance that lingers and then you turn away to order, when you listen carefully and then you make a decisive move to stand, when you let a silence expand and then you deliver one clean line, the push and pull is what makes her feel alive around you. Too much tension without release becomes anxiety. Too much release without tension becomes boredom. Alternate deliberately. Your trouble? With a smirk? Then, come on. With a genuine laugh as you lead her to the next spot. She'll associate you with the feeling she craves. Aliveness without chaos. Let's sharpen your eye further with micro-calibrations in different environments. In a group setting, a woman who's secretly attracted to you will do two things at once. She'll participate enough to not draw suspicion, and she'll track you like a second screen. Watch for the way her face reacts to your reactions even when someone else is talking. She aligns her jokes with your humor. She positions herself within earshot of you later, even if she starts across the room. Your play here is to include her without spotlighting her. Toss a remark that only she will catch, an inside callback to something you two shared, then pivot to the group. You just made a private channel in a public room. That channel hums with charge. In a professional or constrained environment, signs get more subtle because the stakes are higher. She respects the container, but her body leaks information. She times her breaks to intersect with yours. She asks for your input on tasks she could handle solo. Her tone warms by a degree when she speaks to you versus others. She remembers details you barely remember sharing. Your move here is patience and precision. Don't be the man who confuses structure with rejection. Keep your communication clean, your flirtation calibrated, and your actions aligned with discretion. When the environment shifts, after hours, a team outing, a casual context, she'll test a little more if the attraction is real. Meet her there with relaxed decisiveness. We're talking too much about work. Walk with me and tell me what you actually care about outside of this building. Said with a smile, it breaks the frame just enough to invite something personal. If you're already texting and you want to confirm attraction without needy checking, use the drop and lead tactic. You drop a high-value message, playful, observant, decisive, then you lead into a suggested plan. If she bites, you finalize in 2 messages. If she delays, you don't send paragraphs trying to convince her. You leave a clean option open and move on with your life. A man with a full life is not thrown by a delayed reply. He replies when it fits with warmth and clarity, because his worth doesn't hang on the next text bubble. Ironically, that's exactly what pulls her in. Now let's clean up the mistakes that block you from seeing these signs in the first place. Overreading and underleading is death. If you require ironclad proof before you act, you'll paralyze yourself. Women reward initiative that's respectful, not permission asking that's timid. The second mistake is collapsing into performance. You notice a sign and suddenly you become a one-man show. Stop. Seduction is not theater, it's attunement. The third mistake is treating her tests as obstacles instead of opportunities. When she challenges you, she's giving you the chance to show your shape. Smile, tease back, stay kind, hold your line. You're not fighting her, you're dancing with her. There's power in embodying a simple mantra: choose, don't chase. Choosing means you notice these 8 signs and you let them guide your decisions, but you don't become dependent on them. You lead anyway. You invite anyway. You risk anyway. Because your self-respect doesn't hinge on any single outcome. When you live like that, you become the uncommon man. The man who doesn't beg for interest, who doesn't audition, who doesn't inflate to impress. You become the man who stands, invites, and moves. The kind of man she talks about to her friends without quite understanding why you're still in her head days later. If what you've heard so far is waking something up in you, if you can already picture the last time a woman lingered and you missed it, the last time her eyes flashed and you looked away, the last time she mentioned, "we should," and you shrugged it off, then let this be the moment you upgrade. You don't need to memorize lines, you need to sharpen presence, respect your standards, and read what's in front of you. Here's a quick internal reset you can use before any interaction. Inhale down into your belly for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Do that 3 rounds. Then say to yourself, "I like me. I'm curious about her." That's it. You've entered a room as a man she can trust. You want a concrete way to move from signs to action? Try the 3-step close when you're with a woman who's clearly investing. Step 1. Mark the energy. This is easy with you. Step 2. Name a specific plan. Wednesday, 7Y. Live jazz downtown. Step 3. Claim logistics. I'll text you the spot. If they're full, I've got a backup. Then stop talking. She'll say yes or she'll counter. Both are fine, because you didn't perform, you led. That alone sets you apart from 90% of men she meets. Before we end, I want you to internalize the texture of these 8 signs so they're not just concepts, but sensations you recognize. Feel what it's like when she invests in small ways. There's a warmth in your chest and a softness in her tone. Feel the gravity of a slow goodbye. Time feels syrupy for a beat. Notice the electricity of the eye triangle and the grooming. There's a quiet intake of breath, a micro tilt of the chin. Sense the comfort of proximity. Objects inch closer, feet align. Hear the music of frame adoption. Your words, her mouth. Taste the edge of curiosity about other women, teasing wrapped around a data point. Receive the gift of qualification. Truth laid in your palm, delicate and real. And finally, sense the glow of future pacing, Her world opening like a corridor you've already started walking down together. Trust these, act on these, and move. If this is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one because iron sharpens iron, and the men who commit to becoming grounded, attractive, and decisive make the world better for everyone. If a brother of yours keeps fumbling attraction because he can't read the signs, send this to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. Men grow faster together. Here's your final reframe, the one I want echoing in your mind the next time you stand across from a woman whose presence lights you up. You are not here to be chosen like fruit at a market. You are here to choose with presence. You are not a beggar of attention. You're a bringer of energy. You do not need permission to be decisive. Decisiveness is how you become permission. When you encounter a woman who is secretly attracted, she will not put up a billboard. She will give you the 8-threaded signals we've unraveled. You will feel them, you will honor them, and you will lead. Not recklessly, not timidly, cleanly, calmly, clearly. When you live like that, attraction stops being a puzzle to solve and becomes a dance you enjoy. And the moments you've been overthinking, the glance, the pause, the "we should," stop haunting you after the fact because you won't be wondering what would have happened if you acted. You will be the man who did. If what you've heard here shifted how you see yourself, even a degree, stay with me. Subscribe so you don't miss the next layer we're going to build together. Tell me below which sign you've noticed most, or which one you're going to start watching for this week. And if you know a man who's ready to move from confusion to clarity, share this with him now. The world needs fewer passive men and more grounded leaders. Start with you. Start today.